Okay, now we're going to go to tab 26, Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 1252, the Department of Highway Safety by Senator DeSigley. And we have a strike all amendment. And we're going to go ahead and take up the first amendment, delete all barcode 696464 by Senator DeSigley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment removes from the bill a process for an insurance company to receive a salvage title or a certificate of destruction, as this process may not be necessary. The amendment clarifies that electronic crash reports must be submitted using a non-proprietary interchangeable electronic form and reporting method, exempts Florida collegiate specialty license plates from a provision requiring the department to disclose the specialty plate with the fewest in circulation annually, authorizes acceptance of electronic motor vehicle registrations as proof of registration, makes changes to 4 existing specialty plates regarding organizational name, motto, or eligibility changes, corrects a legislative discrepancy specific to out-of-state colleges and university specialty license plates, and creates a new Florida Association of Realtors specialty license plate. Madam Chair, that's the bill.
Great, thank you. Members, are there any questions on the amendment? Any questions on the strike all amendment? Okay, there's also an amendment to the amendment, barcode 854998 by Senator DeSigley. Would you like to take up that amendment?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The amendment to the amendment revises the effective date to January 1st, 2024 for acceptance of electronic motor vehicle registrations as proof of registration. That is the amendment to the amendment.
Any questions on the amendment to the amendment? Okay, seeing no questions. Let's see, we do have an appearance. This is the amendment to the amendment. Tim Qualls with the Florida Tax Collection Association is in support of the amendment. Is there debate on the amendment? Seeing no debate, you're recognized to close.
Waive close.
Waive close. All in favor of the amendment to the amendment say yay. Yay. All opposed say nay. The amendment is adopted. Now we are back on the original amendment as amended. Are there any questions on the amendment as amended? Seeing none. Are there any appearance forms? Seeing none. Is there any debate? Seeing none. All in favor say yay. Yay. All opposed say nay. The amendment is adopted. Now we're back on the bill as amended. Any questions on the bill? Senator Berman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Senator, I believe that there's something, can you confirm that there is something in this bill about putting red lettering on driver's licenses for people who are on the sexual registry? And can you explain the rationale behind that, please?
Senator DeSigley.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator Berman, for that question. Yes, the bill requires sexual predator and offender designations on a driver's license or ID be in a distinctive format and printed in red. And the reason for that is currently there's an indication on the driver's license, and when those driver's licenses are handed over to someone at the, say, tax collector's office, unfortunately, many times with the way they grab it, sometimes their thumb will go over that indicator. And so putting the letters in red will kind of avoid that kind of lack of detail, if you will, to make sure that when it's appropriate, that information is identified.
Follow up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Are you aware that courts in both Alabama and Louisiana have declared similar kind of markings unconstitutional?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am not aware of that.
Thank you.
Any follow-up? Any other questions? Okay, Senator Stewart.
Yes, I thank you, Madam Chair. And I didn't hear any discussion about the license tag transfer. Is that's part of this, correct? With the giving Kids the World responsibility for marketing to Universal, but it still goes to Give Kids the World.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes, Senator Stewart. Thank you for that question. Yeah, so that nonprofit is just having a very difficult time, getting signatures for the license plate, and so Universal has come in, and while it's going to be a Universal plate, those proceeds are going to go to that nonprofit. So it's somewhat of a collaboration where it's a win-win, and most importantly, it's a win for that very good nonprofit.
Follow up? No. You good? Okay. Any other questions? Senator Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator, my understanding was Make-A-Wish, Give Kids the World, with regard to the Disney license plate, was the funding source for those nonprofits. Is that correct?
Senator DeSigley?
I believe so, yes. But I'll confirm that with you, Senator.
Thank you. So now are we adding Universal?
Senator DeSigley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me, if you give me 1 second, I'm going to go through the
Okay.
analysis here so I can give you an accurate answer. So the Disney, thank you. The Disney benefits Make-A-Wish, and the Universal will benefit the kids Make the World. If that was that right?
Follow up?
I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator, I'm just trying to get clarification. We voted on the Disney specialty license plate that would benefit Give Kids the World. And you're now saying that there's another nonprofit. Tell me again about the nonprofit that's connected to Universal Studios.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So there are two different organizations. So the Disney plate benefits Make-A-Wish, and this new Universal is going to benefit Give Kids the World. And that clarifies your question.
Thank you. Follow up.
I think, is it two different tags?
Two different tags.
Okay, so we're talking about two different tags. So Universal tag is going to benefit Universal's nonprofit. Disney's tag will continue to benefit Disney's profit. Two different tags, two different nonprofits.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So have we passed, I can't remember that we passed a specialty license plate for Universal.
Follow up?
So yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So in this amendment, this is where we address Universal's plate that is going to benefit Give Kids the World. Because currently, Give Kids the World, they're having a difficult time getting signatures. So Universal, again, like I mentioned to Senator Stewart, it's kind of a win-win. So Universal is going to have a plate, but those proceeds are going to go to Give Kids the World, so that they can benefit from a specialty license plate.
Thank you.
Any other questions, members? Okay. Is there any appearance? No appearance forms or any debate? Senator Berman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think there's
Okay, whoa, let's back up.
where are we?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
My mistake. It was right here in front of
Oh,
me.
there
We're
are
going to go to
four.
appearance forms.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
thank you. Okay.
Jennifer Bastel is speaking against. Jennifer, and then we're going to have Christopher Sparks that's speaking against, and we have Jennifer Langston is waving in support with the Florida HSMV, and we have Ethan Perry who is waving in support with the Florida Realtors. So Jennifer, you're recognized. My apologies.
That's okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Senators. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. I'm a longtime resident of Florida, a mother, an educator, and a concerned citizen. I've traveled to Tallahassee from Sarasota County today to speak in opposition to one specific part of SB 1252, which is the proposed provision requiring the existing unique identifier on the driver's licenses and ID cards of those on the Florida Sex Offender Registry to appear in red and a distinctive format. Excuse me. I know that you have all received hundreds of emails and telephone calls from concerned citizens around the state asking you to reconsider this portion of the bill. And many of those messages have focused on legal and constitutional issues. But I'm here today to ask you to consider additional ramifications of this proposed part of SB 1252 and the devastating personal impact it will not only have on those required to register, but most importantly, their families. The goal of legislation affecting those who have committed sex offenses and have been released from all sanctions, including successfully completing probation, should be public safety, not punishment. However, the red lettering that this bill would add to the driver's licenses and ID cards is punishment. There is already a distinctive code that appears on the driver's licenses of those on the sex offense registry that is well known to law enforcement and school safety officers. I do work in a school. I see it every day. What purpose will adding highly noticeable red lettering to these driver's licenses achieve than further shaming those who must present them at banks, grocery stores, doctor's offices, maybe when seeking employment, and dozens of other places during and throughout the year? The laws that the legislature passes regulating practically every aspect of the lives of those on the sex offense registry impact not only citizens, but also their families. It makes the burden to reintegrate into society extremely difficult for this group of people and their families. Sometimes families can't even live together because of residency restrictions. As you contemplate your vote on this bill, I ask you to consider whether forcing those on the sex offense registry to carry a scarlet letter literally for the rest of their lives really does anything to protect society, or is it instead just one more of the dozens of technical requirements that citizens who have fully repaid their debt to society are forced to endure or risk going to prison for up to 5 years? Laws that further destabilize the lives of those on the sex offense registry do not make society safer. Is the goal to add the red letter requirement to add additional punishment or to protect society? If it is the latter, then the red letter requirement of this bill will not achieve that purpose, but will risk producing the opposite effect. I really appreciate your time, and I would ask that you please consider an amendment to remove this portion of SB 1252. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now we have Christopher Sparks speaking against.
Apologize, Madam Chair, for the interruption, but we
No,
came
I'm
a
glad
long
you
way
did.
away from home.
They were sitting right here, and it's my oversight. Thank you very much for bringing it to me.
Good morning, Senators. Thank you for briefly allowing me to address you regarding Senate Bill 1252. My name is Christopher Sparks. I'm here today speaking on behalf of Florida Action Committee. The goal of Florida Action Committee is a nonprofit organization founded in 2011 for every citizen of Florida to enjoy a safer environment, particularly for our children. We advocate for the passage of rational legislation based on empirical evidence. I'm here today to urge this committee to remove the provision in 1252 that would require the unique identifier currently found on the driver's license and ID cards on persons required to register as sex offenders in this bill. The Florida Action Committee does not object to the other provisions. We think the bill is great. However, we strongly oppose to the red letter provision, which we believe is unnecessary, potentially dangerous, and unconstitutional. In your own Senate staff analysis of this bill on pages 19 and 20, similar provisions in Louisiana and Alabama have been struck down as unconstitutional on the First Amendment grounds. Both the Supreme Court of Louisiana on the state level and the Middle District of Alabama on the federal level, two very conservative courts, have ruled that the state must employ the least restrictive means when branding the driver's license and identification cards of persons required to register. Currently, a discrete numerical code appears in blue on the driver's license of persons required to register in Florida. Sheriff's departments throughout the state are already aware of this code and its meaning. In fact, schools in the state employ card scanning technology that immediately alerts school officials to the cardholder status as on the stripe in the driver's license. As several of your colleagues in the House recently acknowledged during committee deliberations, the red letter provision of this bill is clearly unconstitutional as it constitutes compelled speech that does not utilize the least restrictive means of expressing that the cardholder is required to register. The Florida Action Committee believes that supporting the red letter provision of this bill is not being tough on crime, but being tough on the First Amendment, whose guarantee protect all individuals, even our most unpopular members of society. From government compelled speech and shaming, which would be the practical effects of the red letter provision of Senate Bill 1252. Consequently, the Florida Action Committee very respectfully urges this committee to strike the red letter provision found at the end of this bill before moving it to the next step in any legislative process. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for being here. Okay, now we're in debate. Senator Berman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And there are some good things in this bill, and but I do have the concern that was just raised by the speakers about the red lettering on the driver's license. As I mentioned, it has been declared unconstitutional in both Alabama and Louisiana. And I believe that there are already systems in place to check the sex offender database. It troubles me that we're putting it in red particularly. I mean, the comparison to the scarlet letter is undeniable. I just wish we didn't have this provision in the bill, and in that case, I would vote for it, but at this time, I'm not going to be able to vote for it. Thank you.
Any other debate? Senator Stewart, then Senator Osgood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indeed, this has much in the bill that offers for me, and I'm sure the residents of the state, but I wanted to address, I'm happy with the Universal taking over the marketing for Give Kids the World tag so that they can start generating some funds. There had been only a handful of tags that were purchased under the Give Kids the World, so I think that maybe Universal might be able to market it better and provide more funding, so I'm fine with that. But I am too very concerned about the constitutionality of that red letter being placed on there. So today I'm going to have to vote no, but I hope that we can look at that again because this is really a good bill other than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Osgood.
Thank you, Chair Mayfield. And I share those same sentiments. I like the bill, but I don't like that one clause. I just believe that we have a system where individuals who commit crimes or do sometimes very ungodly things go through that system and they get penalized, they get a consequence, and they are then relieved from that consequence by completing whatever the sanction is. But to have something red on somebody's driver's license, we have many sex offenders that have done their times. They're back in our communities. It's already a challenge for them to have a place to stay. Many of them, sleep under many of our bridges because of the other things that we have in place that I'm not saying are bad things. But I think about going in to get a job and, having that red on your driver's license, although it could be in your record, somebody could find it. It just makes it more glaring, and it becomes more of an issue when you continue to highlight it in that way. So I sometimes hate when we have great bills and then we have one thing that just totally disrupts my spirit, and then I have to vote down on it when all the other things are good. So I can't support this bill with that measure in it as well.
Great. Any other debate, members? Senator Jones.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. And Senator DeSigley, I share the same sentiments with my colleagues on this very good bill with a stain on it that I can't support. And I do share the sentiments that Senator Osgood just shared when we speak about our returning citizens, considering that we have a process in law that after these individuals serve their time, that when they get back into when they come back into society, how do we expect them to at least, as Senator Berman and Senator Osgood made reference to move on when they do have this thing on this red lettering on their driver's license? I think it probably is a little bit embarrassing for those individuals who, when they try to go get a job or they try to get a house or try to open up a bank account, once individuals start finding out what this red lettering is, what that would cause for those individuals to progress in life. So I do share that. I hope that we can pull that out of this language and find a different way to do that, which I think there are already methods that from a sex offender list and other databases to where those individuals can be identified. Thank you so much.
Senator Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator DeSigley, I think the bill is a good bill. However, the red lettering causes me a great deal of concern. There are many localities in Florida now that have worked to ban the box. When people applied for jobs in the past, they were required to check a box into whether or not they had a felony conviction. And we found that checking that box meant that they were not employed. Not only were they not employed, they were not granted occupational licenses. They were denied housing. And so this runs counter to what we're trying to do with regard to rehabilitation and giving people an opportunity, giving them a second chance once they've paid their debt to society. I also need some more clarification regarding the 2 license plates that benefit Make-A-Wish and Give Kids the World. I sponsored a specialty license plate for the Divine Nine, and for that plate, we were required to have 3,000 pre-sales before the first plate was even pressed by the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. And I see Disney plates all over the place, so they've met that threshold. So I'm not sure why we would need additional assistance now from Universal Studios, and maybe you can explain that to me. So I'd like more clarification and to see if we can do something to eliminate further stigmatizing people who have convictions by red lettering. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Any other debate, members? Is that a debate, Senator Torres?
I was thinking about this, but I like your bill, but I wish you consider, by the time it hits the floor, deleting the red lettering on the license. But I'll be up on the bill today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Any other debate?
Senator Mayfield,
Yes, yes, ma'am. Garcia, Senator Garcia.
if I may. I'd like to remind our fellow senators on the dais, what are the reasons for someone being put on a sexual registry list? Some pretty heinous acts. Let me read them to you. Sexual battery,
Senator
including...
Garcia, are you in debate?
Yes.
We're in debate.
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Including spousal rape, date rape, statutory rape, kidnapping, false imprisonment, lewd and lascivious offenses, child molestation, child prostitution, and child pornography. On very few occasions, I've seen that anyone even remembers that there's a sexual predator list anywhere. And the situation, I can tell you, in Miami-Dade is pretty rampant. I will be supporting the bill today. I think that this is a way to be able to keep our eyes on them and continue to create awareness. We do have a responsibility to help them rehabilitate, but there are consequences for landing on a sexual registry. Thank you.
Any other debate? Okay, Senator Ziegler, you're recognized to close on your on committee substitute for committee substitute 1252.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to clarify again, Senator Thompson, I'll quadruple check this, but it's my understanding that Make-A-Wish is the organization that benefits from the Disney license plate, and then this new Universal is going to benefit Give Kids to the World. But I'll circle back around. I'll double check and make sure that I provide you with the accurate information. I'm always open to having conversation, as you all know, on the bills that I have my name on as a sponsor. But I do want to point out that currently on the Florida driver's license, the words sexual predator, and I'm looking at a driver's license in front of me. That's an example. The font is the same size as all the other information on the driver's license, and the color is blue. So we're just simply changing that to red. And then on this example, on the lower right-hand corner, there's a donor indicator with a heart, and of course that same size font, and the color is red. So in any case, I look forward to continue having those conversations. I very, very much understand the concern and the question of the constitutionality of these type of changes. So With that, I appreciate the conversation as always here today, and Madam Chair, with that I close and ask for your favorable support.
Okay, Michelle, call the roll on committee substitute for Senate Bill 1252.
Senator Albritton?
Yes.
Senator Berman? Senator Boyd? Senator Burton? Senator Kaladiud? Senator Collins? Senator DeSegli?
Yes.
Senator Garcia? Senator Jones? Senator Mayfield?
Yes.
Senator Osgood?
No.
Senator Rodriguez? Senator Simon? Senator Thompson? Senator Torres? Senator Trumbull? Senator Wright? Senator Yarborough? Vice Chair Stewart? And Chair Hudson?
By your vote, committee substitute for Senate Bill 1252 is reported favorably.